Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if Tyler Huntley can do it, then why not Shedeur?
You're listening to the What the Elf Was That podcast, an iconoclastic look at the latest Cleveland Browns news. The What the Elf Was That podcast is part of the Fanatical Elves podcast network, a part of the Fans First Sports Network. Here's your host, Joel Cade.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to another edition of What the Elf Was That? And again, this week we have the coach, Mike Fitzgerald.
Hey, what's happening, guys? Glad
And
to be here with you. And we're live today, which is fantastic.
yeah, and if people start watching, they'll show us like how many people are watching. So,
Hey.
hey, still got the Steelers stuff. We haven't converted him yet, but we're trying. But once he realizes how great of a fan base the Cleveland Browns fans are, he'll just want to be one, at least if nothing but honorarily. So,
Okay.
Mike, I see the picture back there, that Bash Foo. Why don't you give us your what that's all about?
Oh, so I'm at work, and this is my office, and I usually do my Zoom calls from here. I own this company, Bashfu. It's a digital marketing company. We do website design and digital advertising, email campaigns, things like that. Basically, keeping the pulse of what's going on the internet, including podcasts. So,
Nice. So
thanks for
basically,
that.
you're an
Yeah.
expert and all that.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna
I,
have to employ your services later when I market my book.
Absolutely. I've done that before. In fact, I actually owned a publishing company at one
Really?
time. I did.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I know two, three people at the lodge who have some books that they may want to print or publish. So,
Well, yeah, actually, Eric Combs, one of our good friends, he published his book with our publishing company. So how
really,
about that?
really. So I know
Yep.
Chris Dry's got something he wants to put out there. So we'll have to talk.
All right.
Not on here, but I had no idea this is what you did. But I've got a burgeoning publishing empire, so we're going to talk about this afterwards.
I
Anyway,
know.
so let's talk about football. All right.
All right.
Shedeur Sanders. Now, for those of you who are not in the aware or not into obscure Browns situations like I am, um, Shedeur Sanders is currently 10th on the Pro Bowl voting list. Great job, Dog Pound, baby. Ooh, 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 ooh. Voting the meaningless quarterback into the Pro Bowl. So I'm pretty excited about this because this is exactly what Browns fans do. Is like we find somebody and we vote them into things that they have no business being at. So, Mike, when you saw this, what was your reaction?
Well, no, I mean that's the strength of the Browns fan base right there. I think the way that the Pro Bowl goes in and does their voting is 33% of the votes come from fans, which is what came in basically right now. So fans, this is 100% fan vote right now, and then later on in December we'll end up getting the votes from coaches and from teammates, right? So Shedeur absolutely has the biggest social media following. He also has the biggest national following of any quarterback coming straight out of college like that. Uh, and his old man was pretty talented too. So
Right.
I mean
Mhm.
that provides some super help. We see the same thing with Joey Porter Jr. He's brand new and he plays a totally different position than his dad, but he has a huge online following. And he's up there in the ranks. He's not 10th right now, but at CB, but he's definitely in the running, and not quite deservedly so. So.
And I will say, if you look at the AFC voting, Shedeur Sanders is third in the AFC for voting. So if they break this back down to AFC, NFC, I don't know, they've been doing so much with the Pro Bowl that I stopped caring about a decade ago. But if they break this back down to AFC, NFC, then Shedeur Sanders has a real legitimate chance of being a backup, particularly if one of the top two vote getters end up in the Super Bowl. So I'm kind of rooting for the Bills at this point. Like, I want to see Shedeur. But anyway, I know it's a third. But here's my point on this. Here's my point on this. Okay. Tyler Huntley.
Okay.
Do you know the saga of Tyler Huntley?
I probably not as good as you. Please share.
Okay. All right. Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley was a backup quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. And now that we say Baltimore Ravens, we have to put the Ravens thing.
I'm actually a Ravens fan. Go to hell.
And so now that we've brought up the Ravens, Tyler Huntley was a backup for the Ravens, right? And Lamar Jackson gets hurt, and Tyler Huntley comes in and has 2 or 3 pretty decent games. So the team decides that they want Lamar Jackson to go to the Pro Bowl. And their scheme is, well, we know he's hurt, but we want him to go to the Pro Bowl, so we're going to vote for Lamar Jackson, and then we're going to just run the list down of our quarterbacks. So we're going to run Lamar Jackson, then we're going to vote Tyler Huntley, and then maybe we'll vote for somebody else that we think is okay. So that way we know we're taking a vote away from somebody else as the player vote. Now, this scheme actually worked, okay, because Lamar Jackson couldn't play in the Pro Bowl, but he was voted for the Pro Bowl, and he got his Pro Bowl bonus, which is the important part, right? And then everybody started declining to go to the Pro Bowl to the point where the number of votes that the Ravens team had en masse voted for Tyler Huntley got him on the Pro Bowl. So as a backup quarterback to Lamar Jackson, he went to the Pro Bowl, which means that year the Ravens had 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks. Hold on.
I'm actually a Ravens fan. Go to hell.
So you can't have anything positive about that team on this show.
No.
Just a fair warning. You say something positive, that thing's getting played. So there we have the case where if the players don't take this seriously, then I don't see why fans should take this seriously. So good for you, Browns fans. Right? Any thoughts on the Tyler? Well, let me finish the Tyler Huntley saga. The year after he makes the Pro Bowl, the Browns cut him, or excuse me, the Ravens cut him, and he ends up on the Browns practice squad, starts a couple games, then they cut him, and now he's back with the Ravens.
I'm actually a Ravens fan. Go to hell.
So the saga of Tyler Huntley. So
that's crazy, and that is a deep cut. Actually, I did not know that, so that's fantastic.
So yeah, speaking of Shedeur Sanders, did you see this little clip of his where his brother, I think it was Shiloh Sanders, asked him if he was wearing a thong? Now, in case anybody who is watching this, if you didn't see the picture, here it is. So for those of you who are listening, let's see if I can make this full screen. There we go. Let me see if I can remove this thing. But anyway, for those of you who are watching, you can see the buttocks of Shedeur Sanders up close and personal. And the question is that a thong or is that tape? Mike, you got any opinions on this?
Yeah, well, that's odd-looking tape. I've actually taped up football players. Usually we don't put tape in that particular area. Like that would probably be like a square piece of heat tape or something like that after the game, like not during the game. Usually tape goes on the forearms, the sidearms, and stuff like that, for turf tape. Usually don't wear any tape back there. So that's a thong.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We have from the thong master himself has given us the definitive answer of whether Shedeur Sanders was using back tape, which I've never even heard of back tape, which is just athletic tape apparently. I thought maybe there was some kind of thing I didn't know about, like there's an actual back tape, but there's not. It's just Shedeur being Shedeur, and that's what it is.
Hey,
so
that's fine. He can wear that. I don't care. It's without his because of uni, his jersey pulled up. That's the only reason why you saw that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with players going in and wearing thongs like that. If that's his jam, that's his jam.
Back in the day, linemen used to get crap for wearing pantyhose. Now, obviously, sports outfitters like Nike have done a better job of saying, well, if you're going to wear pantyhose, let's make some specifically designed sports thing that are pantyhose, but not call them pantyhose and charge like a lot more for them than pantyhose. And we can make some money off it. But yeah, you can do that. I mean, even when I was in high school back in the early '90s, I wore like a long sleeve thermal shirt when we were playing in below zero weather in the end of November. So, I mean, and college is the same way. You end up with the stuff you're going to wear. But this thing, this is not. When I look at this and I saw this, like this is not tape. It
Yeah.
doesn't look like tape. That is not tape.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely and it kind of plays against the Browns, the ethos and stuff like that. I mean, from Steeler history and stuff, we're both working man's teams. You know, you shouldn't be seeing giant diamond earrings and stuff like that or gold chains on any of our players when they're out there on the field. Um, AB actually caught a lot of crap back when he was playing on Antonio Brown because he would wear, gold chains and stuff while he was playing. It's outlawed, by the NFL to do that, but he did it anyways, and they just let him do that. So, I think that's probably more disrespectful to the game than wearing a thong. So, Shedeur, you just do you.
Yeah. So let's take our break here for a second for station identification and all these kind of ads that we're gonna pump in later,
Love
and
those
then
ads. Bring those ads, baby.
maybe we'll get a paycheck. So, all right, hang on, guys. On the other side of the break, we're gonna talk quarterback. We're gonna talk playoffs, the playoffs,
Hmm.
and we're gonna talk about more playoffs when we get to the college football playoffs and my opinions on Notre Dame. And I'm a Notre Dame guy, so this will be fun. All right, hang on the other side of the break.
Let's go.
All right, and we're back. So patronize all of our sponsors. We'll get paid, but obviously we're doing it for all the money. I haven't been paid. I got paid once. Did I tell you this? I got paid once for doing this.
Nice.
Got paid
Very,
once.
very
I paid
nice.
$50 to advertise somebody's stuff with an on-air read. It was pretty exciting. Then
Nice.
apparently nobody went and did anything with it, so I lost it. But whatever. Anyway, so if you're listening, whatever we're advertising, go use it so we can get paid because we like doing this. All right, so let's transition here. Let's do a Steelers topic since you're a big Steelers guy, and I can't keep you on the show without talking about the Steelers.
We
And as
can.
much as the Browns hate the Steelers, and I think you're absolutely right when you said earlier, these are two relatively towns that are relatively the same. The fan bases are very similar. I think if the Steelers were going to another 50 some odd year streak like they did when they first started of not winning anything, and I think they would be acting the same way the Browns fans are, which is we love our team, but this is a joke. So let's have fun with it.
Yeah.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think you'd end up with this pirate situation or a penguin situation where you're losing your teams. I think the Steelers fans would still go because it's the Steelers. But
Hmm.
anyway, I digress. That's my little digression on the Steelers. But go ahead. What you got for us today?
Well, according to Polymarket stats, the Steelers have between a 55 and 60% chance of making the playoffs, something that they haven't done in several years. Um,
I
the
need
play
a boo. I need like a boo. Like
a boo button.
I
We
need
need
a boo button.
we definitely need to get that. We
Let's see.
definitely need to get that. Ooh, the gong.
There we go. We're gonna gong you out. Anyway, go ahead.
I love the gong. So yeah, so the Steelers so if the Steelers win out, right? So that would mean they would have to
Don't you
beat.
guys have the entire AFC North coming up?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
kind of.
all right,
Yeah.
just checking. Just checking.
Yeah. So if we win out, that would be great. Because if we win out, then we lock the AFC, we lock the playoffs, and then we also get a home playoff game. That's the goal for Coach Tomlin and for Aaron Rodgers right now is to win out the rest of the season. Um, there's a chance that we won't make the playoffs. There's still a chance that that's going to happen. We would have to drop 2 games, I've got a feeling that we're probably going to win 2, lose 1, in that pass. So I still think we're going to make it, and that follows along with Polymarket is that they believe the Steelers are going to pick up 2 games and lose 1 in the next 3 weeks. So I think Aaron Rodgers really proved himself along with the team. The week before last, Coach Tomlin was getting booed and they were calling to fire him, and were booing the team on and off the field. It wasn't. I had friends that went to the game. They didn't hear as much of the booing and stuff as some of the clips on social media showed. But no, I mean, it was made very clear to the team that if you want us to continue supporting you guys and come into these games, that you're going to have to go in and turn out better product. And that's exactly what they did against the Dolphins this past Sunday or Monday. I'm sorry.
Generally, when Browns fans boo a player, the player goes to the podium and complains about the Browns fans.
Yeah.
That's generally what happens. Generally, when Browns fans started booing Deshaun Watson, then Myles Garrett decided to come out and defend Deshaun Watson, which none of us understood. But that's how it kind of works. So the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Not to quote Jim Moore anymore, but well, the Browns last time they were in the playoffs was actually a pretty good situation. So I'm hoping, or I'm thinking, you're hoping to remedy that last playoff appearance by the Steelers, which we all love and enjoy over here in
Cleveland. Yeah. So we're 1-0 is still better than not getting there in the first place. So I mean that's definitely something that's we're looking at. If the Steelers do make the playoffs, they're going to be playing. They're going to be playing the Bills. They're going to be playing, a top-ranked team, because they will be at the bottom of the pile when it comes to playoff rankings and stuff like that.
Right.
So we will be faced with a huge challenge in the playoffs. What we saw on Monday night was an Aaron Rodgers that wasn't afraid to throw the ball, and plus he
There were a couple
surprised.
throws on Monday night. I thought, oh my God, he's going to get picked, and he almost got picked, but
hmm
he
Yeah,
he zipped it past there.
yeah. His throwing speed. He knows he needs to get the ball out quickly. Really, the thing that surprised the heck out of Steeler Nation on Monday night was our left tackle. Our starting left tackle is injured. Our backup left tackle is injured. And so we had to put in our practice squad left tackle, right? And he did a fantastic job defending Aaron Rodgers' blind side on Monday night. So that was super surprising. I was not expecting that, and I was very, very pleased with the work that our practice squad guy was. I don't even recall the guy's name. Now, I mean, he's that far back in the roster, but he got activated. He got asked to go in and be a Steeler, and he was. He absolutely looked great. I watched him in slow motion, and he really turned out for the Steelers, and he did a great job on Monday night. Hoping he's going to do that here this coming week, and Steelers bring home another win. So
Well,
they are 8-6.
This week you've got who?
Oh gosh, I didn't bring any of those stats up.
That's okay. We'll figure it out. But you're saying the AFC North, so you're talking there's three games left in the season. So you got to have the Bengals, the Ravens. Have you played the Ravens twice?
Yeah, we do play. We play the Ravens last.
Okay, so and you play the Bengals.
Yes.
So you've got to have a combination of Browns, Bengals somehow in there.
Yep.
So I can find you. Look it up. Getting my pick 'em this week, by the way.
I get the Lions. I get the Lions next week.
Okay.
And then we get the Browns and the Ravens.
Okay, so you don't have the Bengals.
No Bengals. Yeah, we've eliminated them.
Okay, you've gotten rid of them. Yeah, so your pick on the Steelers worked out for me for exactly the way you said it was going to work. So, ladies and gentlemen of the crowd, if you're playing pick 'em, the coach has got the answers. The coach.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got it. I nailed that one. Yeah, that was one of the things that Vegas sometimes doesn't know what they don't know. So I never pick teams because I'm a fan of the team. I pick teams because I know the team, right? So that's how you pick.
For example,
when you're doing that.
If you're picking the Browns versus the Buffalo Bills, no matter what the line is, you need to take Buffalo because the Browns have quit. They're done. The only thing they're playing for is for Myles Garrett to get this sack record. And I think the
Mhm.
offense is playing to get Myles Garrett the sack record because it's that
Yeah.
bad too. Now, I think it's so bad in Cleveland they quit that even the equipment people have quit. I don't even know if you know this, but like at
Mhm.
the beginning of the game against the Bears, Shedeur Sanders had a couple of delay of game penalties and took a timeout. He's running to the sideline to get plays. The problem is they've got the headset on and they're calling plays, but his little like wrist guard, like the wrist guard for people who can't memorize good, is
Mhm.
wrong. Like the one of the parts fell out, or it's missing, or it's the wrong wrist guard situation. So even the equipment people who are responsible for put that together have quit. Like screw it, who cares if they have the right plays? After that drive, they had to put a new wristband on him with new plays on it. So when they
Mhm.
call the play, he's actually calling the right play on the field. So yeah,
Man.
we've completely quit. We have
Uh,
taken quitting to an entirely new level in Cleveland. But
well,
I don't know.
yeah, I would say even beyond that level of quitting was that
I mean,
were the
like,
Bengals who didn't even bother to clear
oh
the
my
snow
God.
out of the stadium.
See, now that is a different kind of quitting. See, what I'm talking about right now is the Browns players have said, Kevin Stefanski, screw you, we're just done. Right?
Mhm.
What the Bengals have said is the owner has looked at the fans and said, screw you, we just want your money. And like they
Yeah.
don't even care about the fan experience. All
Mhm.
these things we were talking about last week about the NFL is entertainment. It's a production in some ways, and you have to be entertaining. The Bengals are just like, okay, we got Joe Burrow and we're making money, so screw everyone else. Like they don't even
Mhm.
care. They don't even care
Mhm.
if he's hurt, not hurt, if he's got an offensive line, doesn't have an offensive line. They don't care if the fans have to come in and do their own like come and sit in the snow. I saw this picture of this guy in a chair and it's surrounded by snow. Like that's all it was. Like, oh my God. Like if
Yeah.
that isn't the most Mike Brown of Mike Brown moves I have ever seen, that is
Yeah.
completely it. Like, screw you people. Like we're just not even gonna clean up. So let's move on here to quarterbacks. So you guys have Aaron Rodgers this year, right? Now,
Yes.
what are you doing next year? You gonna try to entice him to come back?
So I he's on a 1 year contract, $30 million to come in and play 1 year for the Steelers. I would have said like probably mid-year when we were losing games to teams that we shouldn't be losing to. Um, Aaron Rodgers felt dejected. He looked dejected out there on the field. But after Monday night, when I saw him just smile, that joy of winning with the team and having his team rally behind him for a win, uh, I wouldn't put it out of the calculation in Aaron Rodgers' head. If he makes the playoffs, he's coming back. I
Mm-hmm.
think he's coming back. You know, especially with what the Colts did. That they bring in an even older quarterback to play in the playoffs.
Yeah, my son and I, we talk about Philip Rivers, man. And
Yeah.
we talk about how you ever see his arm motion? It's like this. We would always joke that like it's Barney. He's out there
Uh-huh.
throwing a football
Yeah.
like Barney the
Oh
dinosaur.
my gosh.
And,
Oh my
and
gosh. Yeah.
when he retired, my son was like, "I don't get to watch Barney play football anymore. It's sad." I was like,
No,
just fear not. Maybe he'll come back. He's like, "That dude is not coming back." And like, then he came back.
he did.
We were kind of watching part of it just to watch him do the Barney kind of like
Yeah.
out there throwing the
Dude,
football stuff.
and he did a total old man thing here. So he came back, and prior to the game, he didn't own a pair of cleats. He didn't own a pair of cleats for the game, and the Colts didn't go and buy him a new set of cleats.
Oh my
So
god.
before he came to the stadium, he had to go into his trophy room at his house and go and open up the glass case and pull an old set of cleats out of his trophy case, and that's what he wore. Those were the cleats that he wore. He
Yeah,
pulled them out of a trophy case.
that's tremendous. That's a great story. I was looking at my son. I was like, yeah, as Cleveland fans, we're very familiar with the movie Major League. Okay,
Hmm.
so that becomes a part of our quoting things at each other. And there's a scene in Major League where the player bunts the ball and he's running down first base, and the announcer's trying to make it all sound like it's like better than what it is. Bob Uecker's like, oh, good play by this guy. He's got kids to think about, So when Phil Rivers back there, because he's got like 100 kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when he's back there and he gets hit, I'm just like, man, Philip Rivers, man, what a play by Philip Rivers. Man, that guy's got kids to think about. He's still out here doing We were having a great time with Philip Rivers, man. It was like watching, I don't know, it was
Yeah.
like Space Odyssey, man. We're like, what is this? This is like a flashback to the 2000s, like early 2000s. Like, here's Philip Rivers again. He's
Yeah.
not playing for the Chargers, though.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think with the success that Aaron has had, which is a surprise to us, like we really didn't feel like his body was going to be able to hold up to the hits.
Especially
And
after
getting,
that New York situation where he got hurt on like the third play of the game.
yeah, we really didn't think he was going to physically be able to handle it, and we've gotten an okay backup quarterback, but we really want to see Will Howard out there, right? The Ohio State quarterback that we picked up. We love to see him out there, just like you guys had, Shedeur at like fourth quarterback. But so the Will Howard is somebody I'd love to see out there on the field, but I don't think we're going to get to see him this year. We're not going to, I don't even know if we're going to see him next year. Honestly,
probably a good thing for Will Howard too. Like, sit back, learn the way the Steelers play football, learn the offense, learn how to be a professional. I mean, the last thing you want to do with a young quarterback is do what the Browns do, is throw him out there and like, hey, here you go, here's your chance, learn on the job.
Good luck. Good luck.
Or what we did with Shedeur Sanders, which is not only are we going to throw you out there, but we're not even going to coach you the whole season until we throw you out there. Like that kind of stupidity going on. You don't want any of that stupidity going on.
No. Yeah, we got Mason Rudolph, who's the next guy to, to step up, and he's not a starting quarterback. He's a great backup quarterback,
Obviously.
Yeah, he's been around. We've seen him, he can win. He can win the end of a game. He can do, he can do kind of a 2-minute drill. He's great at that. In fact, that's usually what we only bring him out to do is 2-minute drills.
That and he can get Myles Garrett suspended indefinitely.
Yes, that's true.
That he can do that too. So I think that's got to be the secret plan, right? When the Steelers play the Browns, is to put Mason Rudolph out there, like the rabbit where the dog chases the rabbit at the dog track. Like he's the rabbit and Myles Garrett's just chasing him around. And then you can have Aaron Rodgers over there, like throwing passes and stuff all day because you've got Myles Garrett distracted. He's out there with his helmet. Come on, Mason.
Yeah, Myles Garrett. That's another guy that I mean I have great respect for the position that he plays and what he does. But he's been a non-participant really in the past few games, and I don't know if that's a physical issue, if he's injured or what that is.
Browns games.
Yeah.
So I can speak to this. The Tennessee Titans ran everything away from Myles Garrett. Everything, right? When they ran a pass, they would roll out Cam Ward to the right away from Myles Garrett and told him to get rid of the ball with under 3 seconds. Like, that is literally what they did. And he still got a sack. Now, last week, the Bears did the exact same thing. You've got a left tackle, a chip, and every play is a rollout to the right to run them away from Myles Garrett. And he still got another sack. So teams are just basically quick passing, okay, to get the ball out of the hands before Myles Garrett can physically get there. Or any pass that has any kind of depth is a rollout to the right to make Myles Garrett chase him down the field. And that's after you double team him at the line of scrimmage. So that's what's happening with Myles Garrett. And he's still getting sacked. And they're not cheap sacks. They're not like the guy's running out of bounds and he's the closest guy to the quarterback and therefore he gets a sack. I mean, and teams are committed to running the football. I saw this stat where Myles Garrett has 21 and a half sacks so far, okay? And I think he got jobbed. He should have 22 right now, but he got jobbed on a half sack because, as you know, like in baseball, the official score is provided by the home team. So, as you know, because I've seen some of these sacks for TJ Watt, Um, what was my train of thought here? I totally lost what I was doing with that side note.
I thought that was a Miles
The
Garrett
stat.
thing.
The stat.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the stat is that teams are running the football on the Browns as opposed to passing. Part of this is because the Browns have no offense, and they know they can just put the offense on the field and go on. But two, they don't want to pass. Miles Garrett has seen over 150 less pass attempts against the Browns than the Steelers did this so far up to this season, like concurrently those two same seasons, than TJ Watt has. So he's had less attempts to actually get sacks in the same over the same period that TJ Watt has had.
Right.
So there's less opportunity because what Miles Garrett is doing to the game right now is absolutely incredible. One, he's deterring people from throwing the football.
Mm.
When people run the football, they're not running at him, which is probably a bad idea. You should run right at him. But they don't run at him. The whole offense becomes right-handed. The run plays to the right. Because another thing Miles Garrett is doing is he's getting a lot of tackles for losses at plays run at him. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the stats that people aren't following is that he's close to breaking the tackles for losses in a single season record, which is also held by TJ Watt right now. So teams aren't running at him. Teams are running the ball away from him. Teams are running the football more, so they're not passing. And when they do pass, it's a three-step and out, or it's a roll out to the right to make Miles Garrett go through 1, 2 blockers and then make a sack, and he's still making sacks. What Miles Garrett is doing is absolutely off the charts, superhuman football that will never be seen again in the NFL. So if you get a chance to watch him play football, you should. It is incredible. And I'll highlight this with I went to the Browns at Colts game, and we were in the end zone, like 4 rows up in the end zone, where Miles Garrett jumped over a player, blocked a kick, and ended up recovering the ball. And I was also at the same end zone where he got the strip sack and got somebody else got the touchdown for it. But the man is incredible and doing things that we will never see done again. So it's sad that it's on a team that's so bad and has quit that this man is out there like just destroying defense or destroying offenses to the
Mm-hmm.
point where they're just like waving the white flag. We're going to run to the right. We're going to roll out to the right. We're going to get rid of the ball before Miles Garrett can touch us. And we're not even going to throw the ball unless we absolutely have to, which is literally what's happening. Right. So that's why Miles Garrett has only 2 sacks over 2 games.
There you
Or
go.
actually 2.5 sacks over 2 games. So which is still pretty good for an average person.
Yeah,
Right?
he probably stays away from the dry needling too.
Let's hope. You know, that's not the first time I heard this crap go down. Like now we're way off topic, right? So I don't understand why anybody's doing this because this same exact thing happened to Tyrod Taylor, I think, when he was in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And then that moron who was dating his mom's friends became the quarterback out of BYU. I can't think of his name. He was kind of
Mm-hmm.
worthless. I don't even know why the Jets drafted him. He was so worthless. But like that happens like regularly. Like that's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's going on? If somebody's sticking a needle in your lung? Like,
Right.
dang.
Well, and
Like,
you're allowing a trainer to do it too, right? It's not a medical professional. It's just some trainer that's back there with some needles and he's just going like this, boom, boom, boom. One went in a little bit too deep. Oh.
you would hope that like a professional acupuncturist was doing this. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I have a son. I have 4 kids, right? But I have a son who's not the one I watch football with. This one doesn't like football at all. He's really into martial arts. He's got a black sash and kung fu and all this. And he was studying to do acupuncture somewhere in Dayton. Okay, was studying with some guy who's also a Freemason. That named Fritz, who's also a Freemason. Um, who was trying to talk him into becoming a Mason. Um, he was learning acupuncture, and he's like,
Yeah.
the worst thing you can do is poke a needle in too far. You'd rather just not go in far enough than go in too far. So I called him like, what is going on with people puncturing their lungs? He's like, it's probably not someone who's trained, and they're probably an idiot, and they probably have a player just telling them, just jab this right here, and you'll be fine. Like I would never. Anyway, we're hitting the 35-minute mark, so let's get to
Next
the
subject.
topic du jour. As a Notre Dame fan, where's my Notre Dame helmet?
You got to
Right
show me
here.
something there. Yeah, all
Notre
right. There we
Dame, baby.
go.
Let's
There
go
we got the
Irish.
gold out.
Let's go Irish. I want to talk about this Notre Dame thing and people like Notre Dame such this because they make up their own schedule. Like all that stuff is a complete misunderstanding of what Notre Dame football is. Notre Dame is caught in the middle of a fight between two networks right now. Now, Notre Dame is an independent football program.
Yep.
They have a massive deal with NBC. NBC Peacock broadcasts all the games. Now, when the college football playoff originally began, the bowl championship series was the final, like the four. Notre Dame figured out real quick that all these other bowl games have tie-ins to conferences, and they have no conference. So therefore, if they don't make the BCS Final Four, way back when this crap started, they're not making a bowl game. So
Mm-hmm.
at that point, since every other sport they have is in the ACC, they contracted with the ACC to be basically in their bowl tie-ins. And when the 2020 COVID hit, they actually joined the ACC and almost actually won the ACC that year. But they joined the ACC that year. Every sport other than football is in the ACC. So there's a strong tie between Notre Dame and the ACC. To get a part of the bowl-ins, they are contractually required to play 5 ACC teams.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that is on a rotating basis, but they get the 5 ACC teams. So the ACC is benefiting from that NBC contract because they get exposure on NBC and Peacock when they play Notre Dame. So the fact or the myth that Notre Dame can make their own schedule is ridiculous. And to make that ACC situation happen, they had to drop playing Michigan, one of their rivals. They had to drop playing Michigan State, another rival, and I think they dropped playing Purdue pretty regularly to make that happen. The USC game was kept. They kept the Stanford rival, even though the rival of Stanford's in the Pac-12 now. But what do they call it now? They even have like people in the Pac-12. So they're half their schedule is already predetermined before they start. So then they want to keep USC, they want to keep Stanford, they want to keep Navy. So that only gives them 2 games in which they're actually scheduling against other opponents. Period. Because you're playing
Right.
5 ACC. Now, that's their NBC deal. Now let's talk about the ACC for a second because the controversy begins when you're talking about Miami, Florida, and the ACC. So Notre Dame played Miami early in the season, and they scheduled I think it was A&M. It was A&M. They scheduled from the SEC just because they wanted to schedule a team. Of their 2 slots they had open, they scheduled A&M. I just want people to understand that. And there's the balloons. Okay, so the ACC has their own network. That network was basically bid for and won by ESPN to broadcast all ACC games.
Mm-hmm.
Thus becomes the conflict. The ESPN runs the SEC network, and now they run the ACC network. Anytime Notre Dame plays an ACC team, it is on Peacock and NBC and not on ESPN. I think there's maybe 1 game, maybe 2 games that goes to ESPN when they're playing like a highly ranked ACC team. So what you have now is a contractual agreement between Notre Dame and the ACC that ties their games into ESPN broadcasting rights. And you have an NBC deal. As an independent, they get to own their broadcasting rights. So now when you get to a situation where, so just to line it all up so we can understand what's happening here, Notre Dame is basically part of the ACC except for their football program, which is independent, which pulls money from NBC. If they were a part of the ACC, ESPN would own Notre Dame's broadcasting rights, which is why they got into the deal with the ACC to start with, because after 2020, it looked like Notre Dame may just join the ACC because it's a natural thing. So ESPN went into the ACC and said, we'll broadcast your games because they want Notre Dame, right? They want the cash cow, but Notre Dame is not going to leave NBC with their independent situation. So now we come to the college football playoffs. And what was happening and why Notre Dame took offense to the situation was that Notre Dame gave up 4 significant rivals for this deal for the ACC because they didn't want Notre Dame to have the bowl tie-ins without them actually playing ACC teams because they want that money too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. They made a deal. Okay, great, right? So now we're coming into this situation where Miami, Florida, and Notre Dame are vying for that last playoff spot. And the ACC, which is basically being broadcast by ESPN, wants or let's just say ESPN is pressuring the ACC to get a team that ESPN broadcasts into the playoffs, as opposed to a team that they can't get the money from if Notre Dame gets in the playoffs. Now, not directly from the playoffs because ESPN broadcasts the playoffs, but the next year, right? You can come back with the ACC and say, we had this team, this team, this team, and this team in the college football playoffs, and look how great our teams are. But ESPN cannot market Notre Dame, right? And they cannot market anybody in the Big Ten, which is why we see all the anti-Big Ten and all the anti-Notre Dame rhetoric going out there all the time when it comes to college football playoffs. So the ACC, under the direction of ESPN, I can't prove that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is, went on a campaign to market Miami over Notre Dame to be in the playoffs. And Notre Dame took offense to this. And I agree with Notre Dame on this situation. They should take offense to this situation because Notre Dame doesn't have to play in the ACC. They don't. They don't have to broadcast their broadcasting deal to allow ACC to double dip money between NBC and ESPN on their broadcasting because Notre Dame has the NBC deal. So if Notre Dame is going to continue in the ACC needs to support the fact that they're earning money off of Notre Dame. They're able to have the exposure that their teams get from playing Notre Dame, and they need to support because I guess honestly, at the end of the day, if Notre Dame makes the playoffs, the ACC wins because the ACC continues to make that money. But what's good, and then the whole title of this segment has to be what's good for ESPN is not necessarily good for the college football playoffs. Okay? It is good for the college football playoffs to have their blue blood programs, as evidenced by taking Alabama with 3 losses over other teams that probably deserve to be in because Alabama brings a crowd. But now, because ESPN doesn't have the broadcasting, they have the broadcasting rights to Alabama. They don't have the broadcasting rights to Notre Dame. They're butt sore because Notre Dame never joined the ACC like they thought they were going to. Now they're just butt sore because they can't get their player, their team, so they exercise their muscle to etch out Notre Dame. And in the process, I want to share this screen real quick, and I know I'm getting to be long on this, but let's see if I can share my screen, and I want to share the college football playoffs. So if you look at the college football playoffs, does this jump up? Here we go. Let's see if I can get the whole screen now. If you look at this, JMU, I don't know who that conference is from. Nobody really cares. Oregon's Big Ten, right? So ESPN has no dog in that fight. Then you've got the SEC versus SEC with Alabama and Oklahoma. You got Tulane, God knows where they're from. Then you've got another SEC team. So far out of 5 teams, you've got 3 that are owned the broadcasting rights by ESPN. Then you got Miami, Florida, right? And A&M, that's ACC, SEC. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams out of the 8 that play in the first round that ESPN basically owns the broadcasting rights to. Then you've got Texas Tech, which I think they're Big 12. Indiana's Big 10. You've got Georgia, which that's an SEC team. So only one of the second round group, of course, then there's Ohio State, Big 10, is owned by the SEC situation or the ESPN situation. So what you have now is half the teams in the playoffs are basically owned and operated, in my opinion, by ESPN. So they're out there basically doing what ESPN would do, which is, they're going to, I got to stop sharing. We're going to go right here. They're rigging the playoffs so they can make money, which is what they do. But what is good for ESPN is not necessarily good for college football. College football has been better off with Notre Dame in that playoff spot than Miami, because Notre Dame has had a better track record against common opponents than Miami has. And anybody who's watched those games visually can see that Notre Dame is the better team than Miami, even though Notre Dame with their redshirt freshman quarterback making a second start lost to Miami. There's my rant. I think college football, what's good for college football is not good for ESPN, and what's good for ESPN is not necessarily good for college football.
So you are positing that it has everything to do specifically by the way that everything's organized, right? So the way that, okay. So what's your recommendation? Because what is it? The athletic director Pete Bevacqua from Notre Dame His recommendation is to expand playoff to 16, from 12 to 16, so that you don't have teams like this that are in the top 10 for the entire season and then get dumped off at the end because of this situation.
Yeah, because
Would you like to see an expansion of the playoffs like him, or
I
do you
don't
want to
know. I mean,
declare Notre Dame, ACC only, or give no rights to ESPN? Like, what's the
I
solution?
I just think, as we all know, it's an entertainment business, and I think ESPN, because they own all these rights to all these teams and they're broadcasting college football playoffs,
Hmm.
have undue influence in figuring out who gets into the playoffs. And I think we just watched it go down. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not sure expanding the college football playoffs is actually going to make it better. I think it's just going to expand the argument down to team 15 and 16, who gets to go in, who got, we'll have the same argument no matter how many teams you go down, right? I think the answer, if there isn't even an answer, is to truly have an independent body making these decisions and not letting the people who broadcast the games decide who's in the games.
right. Yeah, because all the other sports have figured this out. I don't know why college football is still on the back burner on all of this. It's disappointing to see, and it's disappointing to see for fans, right? And then then there's an entirely other discussion about the broadcast rights and stuff like that. That angers the heck out of me, when trying to go and watch a team that I really want to watch and I can't.
Right.
So,
Well, look, I'm out of time. I got to run, but thank
sounds
you
good.
for joining me. We'll see you next week, hopefully, Coach.
All right, sounds great.
And we'll run from there. But just Browns fans out there, I know we didn't talk about Browns a lot today. Keep voting Shedeur. I want nothing more than to see him in the Pro Bowl. Have a great one, everybody.
It could happen.
Thank you for listening to the What the Elf Was That podcast. Please like, subscribe, and tell all your friends to give a listen. You can follow host Joel Cade on Twitter @TheLeftGuard.